Hey, Anton Anderson here. So wanted to explore a little bit of this idea of not having enough time. All of us kind of fall into that trap sometimes of feeling like we don't have enough time. It comes up a lot with advisors, especially once they've joined our training and then we're having some coaching calls, and I'll hear them reference, I haven't had the time to watch that hour-long training video, or I didn't have the time to prepare for that meeting with the client or with the strategic partner like a CPA or an attorney. Really what people are telling us when they say they don't have the time, or what we're even saying to ourselves, is whatever the activity was that I was meant to do, it wasn't a big enough priority to push the other things on my to-do list down. As an example, I had a call yesterday with an advisor who was meant to spend an hour preparing for a CPA meeting. Unfortunately, he didn't have enough time to prepare. So he went in and tried to wing it, and it didn't go well. Surprise, surprise. So what I said to him is, why do you feel like you didn't prepare? And he said, I didn't have enough time. And I said, let me ask you this. If that CPA relationship that you sat down with represented $100,000 to your practice in the next 6 to 12 months, do you think you would have had the time to prepare? Would 30 minutes be worth $100,000 to you? And he said, yes, of course it would have been. I said, okay, so really what you're saying is you didn't believe that that CPA relationship was potentially worth $100,000 or more to therefore justify you making it a priority and moving the other things you had on your to-do list down. Because that's really, at the end of the day, what it means. And so here's two things I want to touch on today. One is be very cautious or cognizant of the language that we are using when we are describing our own activity. If we catch ourselves saying something like, I would like to do that, but I don't have the time, what we need to realize is we're saying it's not important enough for me to bump something else off of my priority list. Why is it really important to watch our self-talk? Because we have to audit our behavior, audit our thought process, and audit our language. If we don't do that, then we fall into letting others use the same type of false thinking on us that we are using on our own behavior. And when I say that, I'm saying observe other people, whether it's your clients or whether it's strategic partners like attorneys or bankers or CPAs. If you hear somebody say to you, I know we were going to meet today, but I don't have the time. I know I was meant to get that information to you, but I didn't have the time. I'd like to meet with you next week, but I don't have the time. What it really means is, up to this point, we have not done a good enough job of showing them the value that would justify in their mind them moving it at the top of their to-do list. Does that make sense? So if you're in a meeting with a CPA and they say, I really would like to look at working with you more, but unfortunately I just don't have the time. What that should trigger in our mind is, where did we go wrong? How did we not show them the massive value of working with us? And being very cognizant of how that plays out in our day-to-day activity. So I hope you found that interesting. Just wanted to touch on that a little bit and the importance of, as I said, being very cognizant of our self-talk. Love to dive into this as well as any other questions on the model with you. If you go ahead and schedule a strategy session, we could talk about this or any other questions that are related to it or the team-based model overall. Look forward to connecting. Thanks.